Hello everyone, this is Gautami from Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering of ISC department. Today we'll be seeing about a topic from Java. So before going into the topic, we have to know a few basics parts, which is what is threads. The threads are independent parts of execution within a program. They allow multiple actions to be performed simultaneously. Threads can be created and managed in Java using a thread class. So in this video, we'll be talking about the two topics, that is using thread, how can you manage an easealive and the join operations. And also we'll be looking into the thread priorities. So firstly, we'll be going into the easealive. Easealive is a Java library that simplifies the thread management. It provides a utility methods to create and manage multiple threads. Easealive makes it easier to handle threads, synchronization, and coordination. So how do we create the threads using easealive? The first step is to import the easealive library into your Java project. Use the easealive thread builder class to create and configure the threads. The thread builder provides a various method to set a thread properties. So for example, in this configuration, we can see that there are three types of thread we are using. One is name method that is used to name the thread, priority one, which is we'll be learning into the further topic, that is how you can prioritize your thread to be used. And the second one is group, how you can group the number of threads and then form it. So this is a program, so which help us to know about the easealive. So basically, easealive lets us know whether the thread is actively alive or not. So before calling a thread, of course, there's nothing more function to do for a thread in it. So therefore, the thread will be in actual dead state, or it's not alive state. And after the function has been called, and if you check whether the thread has been alive, it will show you that yes, it is alive, or the thread is alive. It is in an alive state part. So in this program, we can see here, this is the first function call where you're calling, okay, this is the first function call, where this one is the statement where you're trying to print the state of a thread before being called. And this part is like after being called, it is you're printing it again to check whether it has been alive, or to see the difference between before calling the function and after calling the function. Starting thread uses easealive. Call the start from method to start the thread execution. The thread will be executed the overridden run method. Multiple threads can be started in a similar manner. We can actually see the start method which is being used here, where we use the start method to call a thread function, and then to check whether it is alive or what, we use easealive function. So introduction to the joining of threads. So now we'll look into the concept of how do we join threads. The joining thread allows one thread to wait for another one to complete. It's nothing but when there is a two process which has to be run. The first process like the first process does the process, and the second process waits until the first process has been completed without giving any interrupt to it, so that the process goes on smoothly. So the join method is used to accomplish the thread joining. Joining threads helps to ensure a proper synchronization and coordination. So in Java, how do we join threads in Java? So we use a method called join. So the calling thread will pass until the join thread completes. Multiple threads can be joined sequentially. So for example, you are executing a function and you join another function to it. That means that the function which has already been executing will complete its process, and the function which is recently being joined has to wait until that has been completed. So we can see here there are two types by passing an argument to this. The first one is by passing a long millis. It will put the current thread on a waiting until the thread on which it is dead or wait for a specific time. The second one is there are two arguments passed. One is long mills and in nanos. It will put the current thread on a wait until the thread on which it is called or dead wait for a specific time. So the first case, there is nothing. It is just like you put the thread into the waiting process state, and then you move on to the next one. Only you move on to the next one until the first one has been dead, or the function has not been called. Like when you use the start function to call the Threads. Thread priorities in Java. Thread priorities indicate the importance of the thread to a scheduler. Priorities range from 1, which has been the lowest, to the 10, which is the highest. Threads with the higher priorities are more likely to be executed first. What are the default thread priorities? Each thread inherits its priority from the creating a thread. The main thread has a default priority of 5. Thread priority can be changed using a set priority method, as we have seen that we can set the priority of a thread in the first case during the easealive slide also. So setting the thread priority in Java, use the set priority method to change the thread priority. Thread priorities can be set using a constant from the thread class. Higher priority thread are given preference over the lower priority thread. Set thread priority, build a priorities, builder dot priority thread, and the whatever the thread name is can be mentioned. That thread priority scheduling. Thread scheduling is a platform dependent. The Java Virtual Machine (JVM) and the operating system determine the actual scheduling algorithm. The priority-based scheduling algorithm is used to determine the thread execution order. So that this was about the thread priority scheduling. I hope it was useful knowing the three types of topics which is studied. Basically, we came from the is alive part and then moved on to the joining, and then later we came on the thread priorities. We can see that all this thing deals with the thread. So we saw what was thread, and these are the functions which can be used in threads. Threads are nothing but when there's a you have a huge code and that is divided into functions. So basically that when a process is divided into different tasks is being distributed, that single part is known as thread. So thread is a very specific and a special characteristic of the process and which is implemented in the Java, which helps us to make sure that if one thread goes wrong, the other one can continue the process as usual and there's no disturbance in the functioning of the process. So this was all about this video. Thank you for watching it.